We're here today to talk about workforce development in public libraries. We're going to talk about some of the tools that you might want to use, some things that you can look at, and some things that are going to be helpful to you as you look for a job, prepare for an interview, develop a resume, write a cover letter, a lot of those things that you're going to need to do to look for work and prepare an application. What is workforce development? When we talk about workforce development as opposed to job search, we're talking about a broader range of life skills, some things that you would do in the workplace as well as things that you would do in the job search process. So this is a broader approach, and the idea is that what you'll do is come away with a set of skills that you can use both as you look for a job, but then subsequently when you have a job, and there'll be a lasting impact for some of these resources. Why is this important? For library customers, this is important because it's a regular question that we hear. We know that customers need our help. We know that you need our help looking for work. We know that providing access to technology as the job application process moves online is a huge deal. We also know that one of the things that libraries have always done and continue to do is to connect customers to resources. What we're looking at today is the latest version of some of those resources as the job search process has moved online. For libraries, this is important too. Libraries want to know that they're helping people to change their lives. They want to be able to talk about what they've done and to show the impact of those kinds of activities. In preparing to look for a job, there are some things that libraries are really well placed to help you do. There are other things that libraries are less well placed to help you do. There are some things that, if it's possible to do prior to your job search, you'll be best placed to be successful. So one of those things is thinking about what your employment history might be. Where did you work? What years were you there? Who was your boss? What was the address of the place where you worked? These are things you can ask us, and we can help you to find addresses, those kinds of things. But we can't tell you what years you worked at a particular location. So some of that thinking, some of that organizing, work history, salary history sometimes is useful to have. Some of that thinking, if you do that, you prepare yourself for being successful in this process. Having a resume is something that we can do, something that you should do. Having a resume saved on a flash drive is going to be very helpful, and doing that before you look for a vacancy, before you apply to a position, is helpful, because a resume that's saved on a flash drive you can attach easily to an online application instead of having to stop an online application in the middle and take some time to produce a resume. So we would definitely encourage you to do things in a particular sequence, in a particular order. Employment history, resume, those are things that we can tackle, and we'll talk a little bit about some tools for doing that as we move through here. Two places where you can look for a vacancy. We encourage you to use particular websites. It's rare now that jobs are advertised in print. So two websites that we like in particular that we encourage you to visit and become familiar with and know well are Indeed.com and Snagajob.com. Indeed.com is a website that pulls a number of jobs from multiple different sources, from individual company websites, from job boards online, from other employment websites. So they have an awful lot of job ads listed online. They don't have very many job advertisements that are too good to be true. Work from home and earn a ton of money in only 2 hours a day, that kind of thing. These kinds of jobs, we encourage you to be careful applying for those kind of jobs, because you give away a lot of your personal information and you don't necessarily know who you're giving that information away to. So there aren't many of those listed on Indeed. They have both career track and hourly jobs. You can limit the search by location, so you can say, show me all the jobs in Baltimore, show me all the jobs in Salisbury, show me all the jobs on the Eastern Shore. you create an account, or you don't have to, you can create an account with Indeed.com. You can upload a resume to the website, and then if you have done that, you can often apply for positions with one click, kind of submit my resume to this job and one click. Indeed.com works two different ways. So sometimes if the job advertisement is hosted by the site, by Indeed.com, you can complete everything. The advertisement is there, the application is there, the whole process takes place on the Indeed.com website. Other times what they're doing is hosting or copying an advertisement from another website, and you may find that when you click on the apply link in Indeed.com, you get taken out to another website and you need to apply on that third-party website. There's a number of different filters, so you can filter by company, by location, by salary. It's a very powerful search tool, and you can sort a list of jobs that fit your interests, fit your experience, and that are useful to you. Another website we really like is called snagajob.com. It's a new-ish website. I don't believe it covers the whole of Maryland yet at this point. But it does cover certain locations in the state, and it lists hourly jobs, both part-time and full-time. If you're looking for casual work, if you're looking for work that you want to begin quickly, often these are vacancies that would fill fast. Most of these are customer service work in the retail, hospitality, automotive, transportation, warehouse, or sales industry. Certain employers use Snagajob already and others don't yet. So you might see a large number of jobs for a particular company if it's expanding into Maryland. You can search other locations. Snagajob will ask you to set up an account, which will mean having a username and password. And anytime a site asks you for that, you should make sure that obviously you record and capture the username and password and keep it. They also may take you off site depending on whether they're listing an ad from another site or whether the ad is on their own site. But if you're looking for customer service work in one of these fields, then Snagajob is a great place to look. Or go directly to the employer's website. There are some other aggregators, some other websites that we like, and we can look at a list of those a little later. The other thing, if you know that you want to work at a particular company, then go directly to that company's website, find the careers link, which is usually at the top of the page or at the bottom of the page, and click on that link and view the links, the jobs that are listed on the employer's website. Sometimes job boards, these two are good, but sometimes other job boards don't update as quickly as the employer's website does. So you may find that you're on a job board or you're on a job website looking at a vacancy that you're considering applying for, and that one no longer exists. It's been filled, it's been closed. So if you go to the employer's website, you can get what you need. I want to talk about one new trend. Companies now are using employment services to handle their online applications, to view their vacancies, to host their vacancies. So one particular site, such as Talio.net, might be used by multiple different companies. So this is a Google search that you can use. If you use site:/Talio.net, use the word InTitle: and then careers, and then you put the job title and other important words. So for instance, if you're looking for retail management, so you can put site:/Talio.net, InTitle careers, and then you can put retail manager clothing or retail manager furnishings. This will return all of those jobs listed on Talio.net regardless of which company has posted them. So this will let you see with one search multiple jobs in the same field that are all being listed by the companies who use Talio as their employment system. So for instance, this link here links to Careers Library Public. So these are all the public library jobs that are on Talio right now. other sites that you can use this for that are the same kinds of employment management systems, applicant management systems. Governmentjobs.com, NeoGov is a website that lists government jobs. Connexa and ICIMS.com are both applicant management systems, and so that same advanced search with, instead of Talio.net in the site bracket, if you use these, you'll link out to the jobs that they list. So this is a great way to find things directly and to find a wide range of things directly. Let's talk for a minute about what a job application is like. We still get questions about paper-based job applications. We still are asked for paper-based job advertisements also, and things have changed. What we find now is that there are a number of online application systems that most of this has moved online. There are several issues with this. First of all is making sure that when you start out on the company's website. For instance, if you search Walmart jobs, this is one of the websites that pops up. This is not Walmart, and when you click on See Jobs and Apply, you're asked to give away a lot of your personal information. You're not giving that personal information to Walmart. So one of the things that's really important to do is to make sure that before you type your social security number into a website, before you type your mailing address and your cell phone number and all that good stuff into a website, that you are on the website for the company, you're where you think you want to be. Another question is when a website is designed in a way that makes it slightly difficult to use. So this is the Macy's Jobs website. You can see there are several different places. I have circles here around the search jobs and careers box, which is much more prominent than it used to be, so that makes sense as a starting point. Down at the bottom here, there's a Get Started button, which again suggests that it would be the first place you would start. And then on the top, just above the photograph of the employee there, you can see there's an Apply button. There's also an Opportunities button or an Opportunities link. Both of those links are places where, again, you might think that would be a good place to start. Some websites are difficult to use, and it takes a minute to figure out how you want to work your way through this. The Search Jobs and Careers box here, as I say, is much more prominent than it used to be, and it makes sense as a place to begin. So that's a good place to look. On the employer end, some things that we think about. First of all, we want to make sure that you're on the official site for the company, that you're able to recognize the difference between an advertisement and content. The online application will often require you to format the dates in a particular way, and that's something that you need to pay attention to, because if you format the dates incorrectly, your application may not be accepted. There are required fields for many applications, and sometimes you find that you don't have information to put in those particular required fields, and you have to think for a minute about what you might be able to enter there. File types for attachments. Again, if you're uploading a resume and it's asking you for a particular file format, you may have to work for a minute to get your resume into that format before you upload it. Working against time is always an issue. Sometimes the website will only allow you to be logged into the application system for a certain amount of time. Remembering and recording a username and password. Most of these sites now require you to set up a profile. Each profile requires you to use maybe your email address or a username, and then to have a password. I would recommend you don't use your email password for these profiles, that you have a separate password that you use. Having an email address, remembering what your email address is, remembering your password, being able to access your email. Most application responses that you get in the first instance, the acknowledgements or the even instructions for follow-up, are going to come to you through email. So it's important to have an email address that's live that you check semi-regularly. And then browser incompatibility. On occasion, we find that the web browser may not work with a particular system, with a particular online application. That doesn't happen very often, but we do find that. On the library side of things, do you need a flash drive to save material so that you can attach it to an email or so that you can take it home with you? Do you need money on your library card or in your library account to be able to print? Do you need a library card to be able to reserve and use a computer? Are there time limits on the computers? So these are things that we're going to, again, advanced preparation that you can do. Have a flash drive with your personal documents, some of your personal documents on it, and have your card ready to use so that you can use a computer and print if you need to print. Let's talk about applying online. There's two different things going on here. First is that the online application system makes it easy for an employer to collect information and to monitor that information, to process that information. The second thing that's going on is that if for an applicant, if you've done some of this process work, if you have a resume saved onto a flash drive, if you know your employment history, if you're comfortable with usernames and passwords on different sites, you can apply for a lot of jobs in a short space of time. You're not having to handwrite a new cover letter for each application in the way that you used to 20 years ago. This means that there's an increased volume of applications, and so employers are using different ways now to filter applications. Some of them are using automatic ways to filter applications, like keyword scanners. The process can be long, it can be drawn out, it can be frustrating. It can also result, after you click your application, you can be led into a pre-employment assessment, a test that may either ask you questions about your personality, it may ask you questions about your work experience, it may present you with a series of slides or pictures and ask you to identify what's wrong in the pictures. I've helped a customer apply for a hotel landscaping job, and the pre-employment assessment for that was a series of landscaping slides with something wrong with the landscaping, and the gentleman was asked to identify what the problem was in each case. So you should allow yourself more time to complete the application, not just as long as it'll take to fill out the application and upload your resume, but you might also expect to be given an employment assessment, a test at the end, which may take another half an hour or 45 minutes. So that's definitely something that's worth looking at, worth checking out, worth thinking about. So let's talk about tools. One of the things that libraries do is develop tools for customers to use. One of the tools that we've developed is a web page called the Job Toolkit. And you can find that at prattlibrary.org/job toolkit. This collects nearly everything we know about looking for a job, applying for a job, preparing for employment, interviewing. You can see there are quick links on the page to carry you to certain sections of the page, but there's also a substantial amount of information on the page about the top private employers in Maryland, top employers in the healthcare field in Maryland, including many of the hospitals in Baltimore City, and a number of other private corporations and government offices, and quick links out to those pages where their employment vacancies are listed. So that's certainly worth taking a look at also. I can't recommend highly enough taking a close look at this page and using it as the first point as you start to orient yourself in a job search process. This is a great place to look. This links out to the federal, medical and private job opportunities that we talked about. Another website that's worth taking a look at, that's definitely worth enrolling in, is the Maryland Workforce Exchange. This is the online version of the career one-stops that are throughout the state. You can set up a profile here, you can look for jobs, you can build a resume, you can look for education and training, You can find general information about careers and workforce issues, and you can find the locations and the contact information for the one-stop career centres. This is a website you have to be registered to use, but it's, again, definitely worth signing up, asking them to notify you when they find positions or when they list new positions in a field that you're interested in working in. The one-stop career centres throughout the state are listed on a page at the DLLR website. So it's dllr.state.md.us/county, and this takes you out to a map and an alphabetical list of all the counties in Maryland. And when you click on each county, you'll find, and on Baltimore City, you'll find a list of all the career one-stop locations in that county, and that's helpful in making an in-person visit, getting a profile started, meeting with an employment specialist and getting an interview and getting connected to the resources and the placement resources that they have access to. For resume writing, you may find that there are computers at your library that you can use to write a resume. There will be books in the collection that have sample resumes, that have sample language for resumes and cover letters. There'll be members of staff that you can discuss writing a resume and get the kind of help that you need. One resource is a website called ONET, which is at onetonline.org. And this is a government website that breaks jobs down into tasks, into parts, knowledge and skills and abilities among them. If you're trying to describe the work that you did, one of the things that's important about a resume is that you need to describe the work that you did in a way that suggests that you are able to do that work again for another employer. So ONET, if you look up the jobs that you had in ONET, it can show you some language, some bullets for how to talk about those things on your resume. To build a resume online, the website that we recommend is the New York Career Zone Resume Builder, and that's at careerzone.ny.gov. If you simply Google online resume builder, most of what you find are for-profit websites that they will let you build a resume for free. Then they will charge you $15 or $29 to print that resume. And so you put in an awful lot of time into constructing something that you then have to pay to use. The same amount of time invested in a Microsoft Word template on one of the computers at the library, or the same amount of time invested into the Career Zone template that you see here, will result in you having a resume that's yours, that you can save to a flash drive, that you can print, and that you can take with you. If you want to format your resume, if you want to make it look pretty, if you want to change the fonts and change the sizes of the type and bold parts and italic parts and that kind of thing, then I would encourage you to use a Microsoft Word template. This is a pretty simple, pretty straightforward template, and it doesn't have as many editing options as you'll have in Microsoft Word. But if you want to produce a resume, if you don't have a resume and you want to produce a resume quickly and easily that you can take with you, then this website is certainly something that is worth taking a look at, and you can print for free from this website. So there's no hidden costs, no hidden charges, and none of that frustration that comes at the end of using most of the sites that you find through a Google search. To research a career or research an employer, you can use online databases from the library. So 2 databases that are available at every public library in Maryland are Business Source Premier and Regional Business News, and both of those include newspaper articles, journal articles, professional articles from business magazines even, about the company that you're looking for. You can search by the name of the company, you can limit your search by date. The other thing we encourage you to do is use the company's website, look for annual reports, for mission statements, for financial disclosures. Think about what you would need to know in an interview. Think about how you're going to relate your experience to the work of the company, and the more you know about the company, the better able you're going to be able to do that. Private companies are a little more difficult to research. They're not required to give away as much information, to make as much information public. So what you'll find is that there's fewer places where you can look for that kind of thing. So one place to look would be the Better Business Bureau. Another place, if you contact the State Library Resource Center here in Baltimore, you can use Mergent Online, you can use Hoover's Handbook. Both of those are resources that we purchased deliberately to be able to do research about private companies, and hopefully we'll be able to find some good information for you. To take a test, if you're getting ready to take a professional test, something that's going to prepare you for a job as a pharmacy technician or a nursing assistant, or CDL license if you're applying for a driving job, we have an extensive collection of test study guides. You can borrow those from us here at the Central Library in Baltimore, or you can request them through the Marina system of interlibrary loan. We also subscribe, and most libraries, or many libraries in Maryland, subscribe to Learning Express Library, which is a database of test prep materials that includes ebooks, practice tests, skill building exercises, things that you can work your way through on a computer and boost your skills in math or writing or reading, or prepare for a particular professional exam. And then we also have a web page, the Academic and Professional Testing website, which will give you a list of a lot of the different career prep materials that are available, both from us and from other libraries in Maryland. Occupational Outlook is something else we want to talk about. The Occupational Outlook Handbook is a publication from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's now available online, so the URL is bls.gov/OOH for Occupational Outlook Handbook. And what's important about this website for career research is that this will tell you what a job is really like. It will describe the qualifications that you need, the various different positions that are available in a field. It will describe the compensation you can expect, the wages you might expect to get. What it will also do is describe the occupational outlook, which is to say how many jobs are going to be added to this field in the next 10 years, which positions, which jobs are those going to be. So this will help you to decide before you start on a training course, or before you invest heavily in looking for a job in a particular field, whether that field is going to be one that's going to give you career satisfaction, that's going to let you work for a long time. Occupational Outlook Handbook has a 3 or 4 page article about each kind of job, and it really goes into a lot of detail about what the job is like in terms of whether you'll be inside or outside all day, whether you'll be lifting or sitting or reading or writing or hammering. And so Occupational Outlook Handbook is a really good thing to look at. It's a really good article, a really good set of articles to check out. The Outlook piece is really the most important piece of that. Vocational training is something that is also worth talking about. The Maryland Higher Education Commission lists all the different kinds of occupational training programs that you can become involved with in Maryland through the Federal Workforce Investment Act. So I believe the first step is to contact the Career One-Stop Center and become registered with them. And then if you're eligible for funding, you can secure funding to attend one of these programs. And so there's a lot of different vocational training in here. in terms of training for careers in electrical work, plumbing, auto repair, all kinds of different industries. You'll see, if you check this website out, you'll see a long list of different places where you can go to train in all these different fields. Some of them are apprenticeships, and there's assistance at the end of the apprenticeship to actually find a job. Some of them are closer to sort of academic programs, community college programs, but certainly worth checking out, particularly if you do it through a one-stop and there's funding available. Applying for unemployment benefits. This is something that you can do at the library also. You file for unemployment at mdunemployment.com, and then you file a regular web certificate to explain that you've been continuing to look for work and to refresh, to keep your application for benefits fresh. So both of those are things that you can do at the library. There are 24 occupations and professions in Maryland that are licensed. Barbers, cosmetologists, home improvement and HVAC contractors. They're licensed by the Department of Labor Licensing and Regulation. Healthcare and childcare professionals are licensed by the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. Daycare and residential facilities, substance abuse centers and laboratories are also regularly inspected by the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene's Office of Healthcare Quality. And then teachers and library staff are certified by the Maryland State Department of Education. So if you're considering opening your own business, working in one of these fields, it's definitely worth being aware that you need to contact DLLR, inquire about the licensing and inspection requirements, and that's something, again, that we would encourage you to do as you're looking at work in one of these fields. Find out about licensing, find out about the requirements for owning your own business in one of these fields. One way that you can find out about industries that are hiring in your county and companies that are hiring in your county is a report put out by the State Library Resource Center. The Maryland Monthly Employment Statistics Report is at slrc.info, slrc.info, under the Services tab. And what you'll find is a monthly report that draws employment information and statistics from Maryland state government websites, from the Department of Labor Licensing and Regulation, that will tell you which employers are hiring, which companies are hiring, and which areas of job growth are taking off in the county where you live right now. So for timely and current information, you can access this report. You can also tell from this report how the employment and unemployment in your county compares with the employment and unemployment in Maryland and in the US as a whole. But this is helpful. It's really designed to help you target an application if you're looking for work. If we find out, for instance, that Food Lion is opening a significant number of stores on the Eastern Shore, and we know that this particular month they have a significant number of vacancies, or if you look at the Baltimore City report that's listed, you can find out that there's a number of vacancies for medical professionals, particularly for nurses in the city. So this is designed to help you direct a job search and designed to help you look for work in places where there's work available. If you get the programming guide from your library, the calendar of classes and events, I'm sure that you'll find that there are events for job seekers, and that you can get resume help, you can get information about looking for vacancies, you can find help from librarians. And so again, that's something I would encourage you to do. And finally, you can ask us. You can email job@prattlibrary.org. You can check out the job toolkit. You can send us a note in the mail. or you can call us at 410-396-5317, and we can review some of these resources with you and help you to get the kind of help that you're looking for. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best with your job search and hope that we hear from you.